My wife abandoned me and our 3 kids for her affair partner. 21 years later, she showed up at our door. What we said to her left her completely speechless. 21 years ago, I came home from a 12-hour shift at the construction site to find my house eerily quiet. No kids running to greet me. No dinner cooking. Just silence and a note on the kitchen counter. The note was brief: I deserve to be happy. This isn't the life I wanted. Don't look for me. F. That's it. That's all Francine left after 7 years of marriage and 3 kids. Donovan was 5, Shayla was 3, and Quincy had just turned 1. She packed her SHT while I was at work, dropped the kids at my mother's house, and vanished to chase her sleazy coworker Jerome across the country to California. My mother had called me 3 times that day, but I was operating heavy machinery and couldn't answer. When I finally called her back during lunch, she just said Francine had dropped the kids off saying she had an emergency. By the time I got home and found the note, Francine was already on a plane. I called her phone, disconnected. Her sister? I don't know anything, Roderick. She just said she needed to find herself. Her parents? They were as shocked as I was, but within a week they'd somehow rationalized it. Maybe you weren't giving her what she needed emotionally, her mother had the audacity to suggest. I told them to F off and never contacted them again. The first night was HL. Quincy wouldn't stop crying for his mother. Shayla kept asking when mommy was coming back from her trip. Donovan, old enough to sense something was very wrong, just sat on the couch staring at the door. I didn't sleep. I held my boys while they cried, changed diapers, made bottles, and tried to figure out how the F I was going to do this. I built houses, poured foundations, framed walls in 100-degree heat, but nothing prepared me for being abandoned with 3 kids under 6. But here's the thing about me, I don't fold. Never have, never will. I restructured everything. Switched to the morning shift at work, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m., so I could pick up the kids from school and daycare. My foreman, tough old tard named Hank, took one look at me that first week and said, "Take whatever time you need, but don't you dare quit. Your kids need you working." He shuffled schedules, covered for me when daycare called, and never once made me feel like less of a man for being a single father. The divorce was straightforward. Abandonment is abandonment. She didn't contest it, HL, she didn't even show up. I got full custody, the house, everything. The child support orders went nowhere because she disappeared completely. Fine by me. I didn't want her money. I wanted her gone. Those early years were brutal. You ever try to explain to a 3-year-old why mommy isn't coming to her dance recital? Or why a 5-year-old's Mother's Day card has to go to grandma instead? Quincy was lucky in a effed up way, he never knew her, so he never missed her. But Donovan and Shayla? They carried that wound. I never talked SHT about Francine to them. Didn't need to. Kids aren't stupid. They figure out real quick who shows up and who doesn't. Who signs the permission slips, who teaches them to ride bikes, who's there at 2 a.m. when they're puking. That was all me. Dating? Forget it. For the first 5 years, my world was work and kids. Period. Any woman who had a problem with that could keep walking. I went on maybe 3 dates in those years, and each time I made it crystal clear, my kids come first, second, and third. Most women said they understood. They didn't. Then I met Marlena. I was at the ER with Shayla, she'd broken her wrist falling off the monkey bars. Marlena was the nurse who treated her. Shayla, 11 at the time and sharp as a tack, looked at this woman and said, "You're pretty." My dad's single. I wanted to sink into the floor. Marlena just laughed and said, "Well, your dad's pretty handsome himself, but right now let's focus on fixing that wrist." She slipped me her number on the discharge papers. I waited a week to call. When I did, I laid it out straight: I've got 3 kids. Their mother abandoned us. I work construction. I'm not looking for a mother for them, I've been handling that. But if you're interested in dinner, I'd like to take you out. She appreciated the honesty. We dated for 2 years before I introduced her to the kids. By then, Donovan was 13, Shayla was 11, and Quincy was 9. I sat them down first, alone, and told them I'd met someone. Donovan's first question, "Is she going to leave too?" That gutted me. I told him I couldn't promise what another person would do, but I could promise that no matter what, I wasn't going anywhere. Marlena was perfect with them. She didn't try to be their mother. She just was herself. She came to Donovan's football games, helped Shayla with her science projects, taught Quincy how to cook. She earned their trust slowly, patiently. We got married when Quincy was 11. Small ceremony, just family. The kids were in the wedding party. Shayla, then 13, pulled me aside at the reception and said, "Dad, she's the mom we should have had all along." I'm not ashamed to say I cried like a baby. The teenage years flew by. Donovan went into the trades like his old man, became an electrician. Smart kid, makes better money than I do now. Shayla went to college, became a teacher. Says she wants to be there for kids who don't have anyone. Quincy's in his final year of college, studying engineering. My kids turned out effing amazing, and it had nothing to do with Francine. We never heard from her. Not once. No birthday cards, no Christmas calls, nothing. It was like she'd died, except we knew she hadn't because her sister would occasionally let slip that she was living her best life in California with Jerome. After a while, we stopped asking. She became a nonentity, a footnote in our family story. Then last Tuesday happened. I was in the garage working on Marlena's car, oil change, nothing major. Marlena was in the kitchen making dinner. It was just us, all the kids had moved out but lived within an hour's drive. We were actually planning Shayla's wedding. She got engaged 6 months ago to a solid guy named Warren who treats her like gold. The doorbell rang. Marlena called out that she'd get it. Then I heard her say, "Can I help you?" In that tone, you know the one, polite but cautious. A voice I hadn't heard in 21 years said, "I'm looking for Roderick. I'm his wife. His first wife. Francine." I dropped the wrench. It clanged on the concrete floor. My blood went from normal to boiling in about 2 seconds. I walked to the front door, wiping my hands on a rag, and there she was. Time had not been kind to Francine. She looked every one of her 49 years and then some. Hair that used to be thick and dark was thin and gray streaked. Deep lines around her mouth and eyes. She'd lost weight, but not in a healthy way. She looked hollowed out, desperate. She was wearing clothes that had seen better days and carrying a single suitcase. "Roderick," she started, her voice shaky. "I know this is unexpected." Unexpected? I kept my voice level, but Marlena knew me well enough to step closer, her hand briefly touching my arm. "No, unexpected is running into someone at the grocery store. This is effing audacious. I know you're angry." "I'm not angry, Francine. I haven't been angry at you in years. You're nothing to me. Less than nothing. Now get off my property." She started crying then. These theatrical tears, the kind she used to use when she wanted something. "Please, I just need to talk to you. To the kids. I made a mistake." "A mistake?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. You abandoned 3 children. That's not a mistake, that's a character defect." "Jerome left me," she blurted out. 5 years ago. He met someone younger. I lost everything in the divorce. I've been living in my car. I have nowhere else to go. You're my family." Marlena actually laughed at that. "Family? Lady, you don't know the meaning of the word. Who are you?" Francine's tears stopped real quick, replaced by indignation. "I'm his wife," Marlena said, stepping forward. "The one who stayed. The one who raised your children. The one who earned the right to be called family." Francine turned back to me. "Roderick, please. Let me see them. They're my children." "No." The word came out hard and final. "They're my children. I raised them. I was there for every fever, every nightmare, every heartbreak, every triumph. You're just the surrogate who birthed them. You can't keep them from me. I have rights. You have SHT. You abandoned them. You terminated your rights when you walked out that door 21 years ago. And they're all adults now anyway. If they want to see you, that's their choice. But you're not making that approach through me or in my house." Right then, Donovan's truck pulled up. He was stopping by to return my socket set. He got out, saw the scene at the front door, and his whole demeanor changed. My son's 6'2", 200 pounds of muscle from working construction, and every bit of that went on alert. "Everything okay, Pops?" He walked up, positioning himself between Francine and us. Francine's face lit up. "Donovan? Oh my God, look at you. You're so handsome, so grown up." Donovan looked at her with zero recognition. Then it clicked, and his face went stone cold. "You're her." Not a question. A statement. "I'm your mother." "No. You're not. My mother is standing right there next to my father. You're just some stranger who looks like she needs help. There's a shelter about 10 miles north. Have a good night." He walked past her like she wasn't there, handed me the socket set, kissed Marlena on the cheek, and said, "Ma, you need me to stay?" Marlena, Ma, that's what all 3 kids called her, shook her head. "We're good, honey." Donovan nodded, looked at me. "Pops, you need anything?" "Nah, son. Drive safe." He left without acknowledging Francine again. She stood there, mouth open, shocked. "He doesn't even know me," she whispered. "That's what happens when you abandon a 5-year-old, I said. "They forget you. Or in his case, they choose to. Now leave, or I call the cops." She left, but not before saying she'd be back, that she had rights, that this wasn't over. Update 1, 3 days later. Holy SHT, you guys were right. She didn't give up. After I posted the other day, Francine apparently spent time doing her homework. She found out where all 3 kids lived and worked. How? Social media, probably. Maybe public records. Doesn't matter. She showed up at Donovan's job site Wednesday morning. He's an electrical foreman now, running his own crew. She walked right onto the construction site, a massive safety violation, and started causing a scene. Donovan called me, and I could hear her screaming in the background about parental alienation and how I poisoned them against her. I told him I was on my way, but he said, "Nah, Pops. I got this." From what his crew told me later, Donovan handled it like a effing professional. He calmly told his guys to take an early break, then faced Francine. "You're trespassing on a construction site. That's a crime. You're also harassing me at my place of work. That's another crime. I'm going to give you one chance to leave before I call the police and have you arrested." She tried to grab his arm. "I'm your mother." He pulled away. "You were an egg donor. Nothing more. And if you ever come to my job again, if you ever approach my fiancé, if you even think about coming near my future kids, I'll file a restraining order so fast it'll make your head spin. I watched my father rebuild his life without you. I watched him become the man I aspire to be. You? You're nothing but a cautionary tale I'll tell my children about choosing character over comfort." She left, but not before screaming that she'd sue for grandparents' rights. Donovan laughed and told her, "Good luck with that. You weren't even a parent, let alone a grandparent." But she wasn't done. Thursday, she found Shayla at the elementary school where she teaches. Waited until recess when Shayla was outside with her class. Started calling to her over the fence, crying, making a scene in front of 25 second graders. Shayla handled it differently than Donovan. She calmly asked another teacher to watch her class, walked over to the fence, and in her teacher voice, you know, that calm but terrifying tone teacher's perfect, said, "I need you to understand something. You gave birth to me, but you are not my mother. My mother is the woman who taught me to ride a bike after you left. Who did my hair for prom? Who held me when my first boyfriend broke my heart? Who's planning my wedding with me right now? That's Marlena. You? You're a stranger who's disrupting my workplace and scaring my students. Leave now, or I'll have the school resource officer arrest you." Francine tried the tears again. "Shayla, baby, I'm sorry. I was young, I was stupid. You were 28. That's not young, that's just selfish. And now you're what, 49? Old enough to know better than to ambush someone at work. You want to know the truth? I used to dream you'd come back. I used to imagine what I'd say, how I'd forgive you, how we'd be a family again. But therapy helped me realize something. You leaving was the best thing that ever happened to us. We got Marlena instead. We got a real mother. So thank you for leaving. It was the only good parenting decision you ever made." Security showed up then. Francine left, but she was practically hyperventilating with rage. Friday morning, yesterday, she found Quincy at his college. He was walking to class when she approached. This kid, my baby who never even knew her, just stopped and stared. "Quincy? I know who you are. Or who you were, anyway. Francine, right? Not mom. Not mother. Francine. I'm your mother. Biologically, sure. But let's be real here. You're a stranger. I don't know your favorite color, your middle name, your birthday. You don't know mine either. You don't know that I'm allergic to shellfish, that I play guitar, that I'm graduating magna cum laude with a degree in mechanical engineering. You don't know that Dad worked double shifts for 3 years to pay for my college so I wouldn't have debt. You don't know that Marlena taught me to drive, that she's the one I called when I had my first panic attack during finals. You're not my mother. You're just someone who made a choice 21 years ago, and now you're living with the consequences." She tried to touch his face. He stepped back. Please don't. I don't know where your hands have been. Effing savage. That's my boy, how can you all be so cruel? She wailed. Cruel? Quincy laughed. Lady, cruel was leaving 3 kids under 6. Cruel was never sending a birthday card, never calling to check if we were alive, never giving SHT until you needed something. We're not cruel. We're indifferent. You trained us to live without you, and we got really, really good at it. He walked away, leaving her standing there. Last night, all 3 kids came over for dinner. We needed to talk about this as a family. Donovan was PSD. She's escalating, Pops. Showing up at our jobs? That's unhinged. Shayla had already started documenting everything. I've got emails going to HR, the principal, everyone. If she shows up again, I'm filing a restraining order. Quincy was the calmest. I don't think she's dangerous. Just desperate. And probably mentally ill. Normal people don't abandon their kids then show up 2 decades later expecting a Hallmark reunion. Marlena, my rock, just held my hand through it all. What do you want to do, babe? Honestly? I want her gone. But I also want to know what her endgame is. She doesn't strike me as the sentimental type. She wants something. Donovan agreed. Nobody just shows up after 21 years without an angle. She's broke, she said so herself. Bet she's looking for money. Or a place to stay, Shayla added. She said she's been living in her car. Not our problem, Quincy said. She had 21 years to be a parent. She chose California and Jerome instead. Now Jerome's gone and suddenly we're family? F that. That's when the doorbell rang. We all tensed up, but it was just a process server. She's actually suing me. For parental alienation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. She wants damages. Monetary damages. For the pain and suffering of being kept from her children. We all started laughing. Like, legitimately laughing. The process server looked confused, but what else could we do? This woman abandons 3 kids, disappears for 2 decades, then sues me for emotional distress? My lawyer, yeah, I called him immediately, laughed too. This is the most ridiculous lawsuit I've ever seen. She has no case. She abandoned them. You have full custody. They're all adults. This will get thrown out immediately, but I'll handle it. Might even countersue for harassment. Update 2, 1 week later. The lawsuit was dismissed. Took the judge exactly 10 minutes to read it, look at Francine, who showed up representing herself, and say, "Ma'am, you abandoned 3 minor children 21 years ago. You have no standing here. Case dismissed. And if I see you in my courtroom again with frivolous litigation, I'll hold you in contempt." But she didn't stop. She started calling my work. Calling Marlena's hospital. Leaving messages about how we're destroying a family and how she's going to expose us on social media for being abusive. Then she crossed the effing line. She contacted Shayla's future in-laws. Told them she was Shayla's real mother and that they should know their son was marrying into a broken, dysfunctional family with a violent, controlling father who alienated innocent children from their loving mother. Warren's parents, good people who've known us for 3 years, called Shayla immediately. They didn't believe a word, but they were concerned about what this clearly unstable woman might do at the wedding. That was it. I was done playing defense. I hired a private investigator. Took him exactly 2 days to find out everything. Francine's life in California had been a SHT show. Jerome left her for a 22-year-old bartender after draining their joint accounts. She'd been fired from multiple jobs for theft. She had an arrest record, petty theft, bad checks, 1 DUI. She'd been evicted 3 times in the last 5 years. She wasn't just broke, she was desperate. But here's the kicker, she'd been telling people in California that her children had died. Died. In a car accident. She'd been collecting sympathy and money from people for years with this sob story about losing her 3 kids and husband in a tragic accident. The pie had statements, screenshots from social media, even a GoFundMe she'd run claiming to raise money for their memorial. I called my lawyer. Is this fraud? Oh, absolutely. Wire fraud if she used GoFundMe. Plus, it shows a pattern of deception that'll help with the restraining order. We filed for restraining orders, all 5 of us. Marlena included, since Francine had started calling her the homewrecker who stole my family. The hearing was yesterday. Francine showed up looking like she'd attempted to clean herself up. Goodwill dress, hair pulled back, trying to look sympathetic. She'd even found a lawyer somehow, probably pro bono, and he looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The judge, a woman in her 60s who'd clearly seen everything, listened to our side first. My lawyer presented everything: the abandonment, the 21 years of absence, the recent harassment at workplaces, the frivolous lawsuit, the calls to employers, the lies to wedding in-laws, and then, "Your Honor, we'd also like to submit evidence that Ms. Fletcher has been fraudulently claiming her children are deceased to solicit money from sympathetic individuals in California." Francine's lawyer's head snapped toward her. He clearly didn't know about this. The judge reviewed the evidence. Screenshots of Facebook posts where Francine claimed to be a grieving mother. The GoFundMe page that raised $3,700 for a memorial that never existed. Messages from people she'd borrowed money from, playing the grieving mother card. "Ms. Fletcher," the judge said, voice deadly calm. "You abandoned your 3 children 21 years ago. You made no attempt to contact them or support them. You then told people they were dead to gain sympathy and money. Now you're harassing them and their family because you're desperate. Am I summarizing this correctly?" Francine started sobbing. "I was mentally ill. I was depressed. I didn't know what I was doing." "You were mentally ill for 21 years? You were too depressed to call your children but not too depressed to commit fraud?" Her lawyer actually stepped away from her at the defense table. The judge continued. "I'm granting all 5 restraining orders. Ms. Fletcher, you are to stay at least 500 feet away from all petitioners. No contact, no calls, no emails, no social media, no third-party contact. If you violate this order, you will be arrested. Additionally, I'm forwarding this fraud evidence to the district attorney's office. You might want to find a criminal defense attorney." Francine lost it. Started screaming about how we'd ruined her life, how she gave us life and deserved respect, how Marlena had stolen her family. "No," I stood up. My lawyer tried to stop me, but I needed to say this. "You ruined your own life. Every choice, every step, every lie, that was all you. We didn't steal anything from you. You threw us away. We just learned to live without you. And we got really effing good at it." The bailiff had to escort her out while she screamed threats. The judge added another year to the restraining order duration just for that. Outside the courthouse, my family stood together. Donovan, Shayla, Quincy, Marlena, and me. We'd won, but it didn't feel like a victory. It just felt sad. "You okay, Pops?" Quincy asked. "Yeah, kid. Just thinking about how different things could have been if she'd just stayed. Been a mother." Marlena squeezed my hand. "Then I never would have met you. And these 3 amazing kids would have been raised by someone who didn't want them instead of by someone who chose them every single day." Shayla hugged us both. "She's right, Dad. We got the better end of this deal." Donovan threw his arm around his siblings. "Besides, look how we turned out. Successful, educated, emotionally stable. Well, mostly stable. That's all you and Ma. She had nothing to do with it." Final update, 2 weeks later. I wasn't going to update again, but you all deserve to know how this ended. Francine was arrested last week. Not for violating the restraining order, she'd actually stayed away. No, the California DA picked up the fraud case. Turns out when you raise money through GoFundMe under false pretenses and it crosses state lines, it becomes a federal issue. She's looking at serious time. Her public defender reached out to my lawyer, wanting us to write character letters for her sentencing. We declined. All 5 of us. But here's where it gets interesting. Her sister, remember her? The one who'd occasionally update us on Francine's best life in California? She called me. "Roderick, I owe you an apology. I knew where she was all these years. I knew she was lying about the kids being dead. I should have told you. I should have told her to come back. I'm sorry." I asked her why she was telling me now. "Because she called me from jail asking for bail money. Told me you all conspired against her, that you'd poisoned the kids, that Marlena was some gold digger who stole her life. And I realized. She actually believes it. She's rewritten history in her head. In her version, she's the victim. She left to protect the kids from you. She stayed away because you threatened her. The lies she told others? She believes them now. What do you want me to say to that?" "Nothing. I wanted you to know that some of us knew the truth all along. You're a good man, Roderick. Those kids are lucky to have you and Marlena." I thanked her and hung up. Then I called my kids and told them about the conversation. Donovan's response: "So she's not just a narcissist, she's a delusional narcissist. Great." Shayla was more thoughtful. That's actually sad. She's created this whole alternate reality where she's not the bad guy. Quincy, my wise youngest, does it matter? Whether she believes her lies or not, the effect is the same. She wasn't here. We were. End of story. He's right. Last night, we had Shayla's wedding. Small ceremony in our backyard, just family and close friends. She looked absolutely stunning. Warren's a good kid, man, actually. Treats her like a queen. His parents were there, and they pulled me aside to say they were proud to be joining our family. Our real family. During the father-daughter dance, Shayla whispered, "Thank you, Dad." For what? For being both parents when I only had one. For never making us feel like we were missing something. For choosing Marlena. For showing me what real love looks like, the kind that stays, that fights, that builds instead of runs. I'm not crying, you're crying. During the reception, Quincy gave a speech. He talked about family, about choice, about how blood doesn't make you a parent, presence does. He raised his glass to the man who taught me to shave, to drive, to respect women, to work hard, to stand up for myself, and to never abandon the people who count on you. To my dad. Donovan added, and to the woman who came into our lives when we needed her most, who never tried to replace someone but instead created her own place in our hearts. Who showed up to every game, every recital, every graduation, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. To Ma, our real mother. Marlena broke down crying. Happy tears, she assured everyone. Not once did anyone mention Francine. She didn't exist in our celebration. She was less than a ghost, she was nothing. And that's how it should be. I know some of you will say I should feel sorry for her. That she's clearly mentally ill, that she needs help, that I should be the bigger person. F that. I was the bigger person for 21 years. I never badmouthed her to the kids. I never prevented her from reaching out, she chose not to. I raised 3 kids alone for years, then with Marlena's help, and they turned out to be incredible adults. She made her choice 21 years ago. Now she gets to live with it. In federal prison, apparently. My family, my real family, is stronger than ever. We survived abandonment, thrived despite it, and came out the other side intact. We didn't need her then, and we sure as HL don't need her now. The restraining orders are permanent. The kids have all blocked her on everything. Her sister says she's been transferred to a federal facility pending trial. She's facing 5 to 10 years for wire fraud. And us? We're planning Christmas. Marlena wants to host this year. All 3 kids and their partners will be there. Donovan's fiancée is pregnant, we're going to be grandparents. Shayla and Warren are looking at houses nearby. Quincy just got accepted to MIT for his master's program. Life is good. Really effing good. Without her. Edit, to answer the most common questions. Yes, this is real. I wish it wasn't, but it is. No, I don't feel bad for her. She had 21 years to feel bad for us. The fraud thing, apparently, she raised money multiple times over the years with the dead kid's story. The FBI got involved because it crossed state lines and involved electronic communications. My kids are in therapy. Have been for years. They're doing great. Marlena is the strongest woman I know. She took on 3 damaged kids and loved them whole. She's the real MVP here. To the men raising kids alone, you've got this. It's hard as F, but you've got this. Your kids need you to be strong, so be strong. But also get help when you need it. There's no shame in therapy, in asking for help, in admitting you're struggling. To the women who step up for kids that aren't biologically theirs, you're heroes. Full stop. That's it. That's the story. Woman abandoned her family, built a life on lies, came back expecting forgiveness, and found out that some choices can't be undone. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. And sometimes, that's exactly how it should be. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.